as I've gotten older, I realized that I was wasting a lot of time waiting for an album to drop in August. You know, oh man, I can't wait. So then August get here, and then I realized that 8 months is gone.
Right.
Just waiting on the album.
The business is.
It's another week in the books with the OndeckTV podcast. I am Spike Lou.
Man, holla at your man Animal Brown. Listen, on today's show, guys, we got an action-packed joint. Nipsey goes platinum. Shout out to him. Boosie shimmies. That's your man. And we talked to Dead End Hip Hop's Ken Inge about how his network came to be.
Yes. But first, your guys, Drake and Future, came out of the gate in the first quarter with their brand new single, Life is Good.
Let's go.
Obviously, from the post that we've seen from Future over the weekend, Life is Great. Shout out to Miss Harvey.
Okay.
What did you think of the song?
I thought the song and the video was fire. I thought it lived up to their standards. Luckily, they dropped the video at the same time. Because these types of videos, and Drake is single-handedly bringing the music video back. Thank you, Drake.
Relax.
No, because he gets to be in character, and he's not taking himself too seriously.
Everybody's making fly videos, though.
Nah, that's not true. People too cool nowadays.
That's not true.
Other than him and Joyner Lucas.
J-Rock had a whole fire video series.
He had some fire videos.
It's more
TDE
people
cooking with the videos.
Now,
TDE.
it's more people than
They're
that.
distant second place.
Big Sean, a couple of last videos was fire.
Relax.
Yeah, you know I'm telling the truth.
The Sixth God is bringing the video back. And I think the song is good. It reminded me of the joint on Views, the Grammy. That reminded me of that. They must think I won a Grammy.
Yeah, never
they
heard
must
it.
think I won a Grammy. Stop.
Never heard that.
How they split the beat up, I thought that was smart. It's a good record. I heard it ringing off on satellite radio, so I'm sure it was going off in the clubs. If I still went out, I probably would have heard it.
I ain't even gonna hold y'all. This track was banging.
Let's go.
Gave you enough of Drake and enough of Future where you wanted more of it. They did the cheating algorithm stream thingy majiggy here. It was a short Drake song and a short Future song, so of course I'm gonna run this back. So I do like the song. I like what they did here. Both of them were in their bags as far as Drake and what he does with the IG caption rap, and Future just being as toxic as ever, and everybody like singing right along with him and him doing his thing. And I'm not hating on them for it. I think that they're leaning into themselves as far as being established artists right now, and you know they appreciate it. Like you said, they can have fun with themselves. They can do the videos where they're chefs and they're playing around, where they don't have to be too serious and have to worry about those things musically anymore. Of course, I sit here last week and said Drake was worried about those things when he's outside of the booth, and I still think that same thing with Future, but you can tell their comfort level now in the booth.
I like how they work well together, because you could argue that the music skews just a little bit to Future, but you take a look at the video and that skews more to Drake. So It's a good mix and they complement each other. And I thought What a Time to Be Alive Part 1 was slept on, and I'm super anxious to hear. I thought it was slept on. People don't get that enough credit. It's 11 for 11 on there.
No, it's not.
There's not one slow song on that project.
Accurately rated.
Yeah, put some more respect on that What a Time to Be Alive. This should drop any day now. I'm predicting that this is
the album.
Yeah,
Drake and Future album is gonna drop any day now.
I think it's gonna come out the blue.
Absolutely not.
They did that last year.
It's not even this was a Future featuring Drake project.
That's fine.
All right, it's not a like WTTH or whatever the name. What's the name of that group called?
Watch the Throne.
Yeah, that's the name of that group.
Yeah,
that's not the name of their group.
Yeah,
Watch the Throne. Oh, the Throne.
Yeah, same difference.
Very original.
Man, let's switch the gears, man. Let's talk Oprah and Russell Simmons.
Okay.
Now, you remember the Russell Simmons documentary that she was executive producing in regards to some of the rape allegations that he had early in the mid-90s. Now, she has now put the word out that she has backed out of the documentary and that she will no longer be executive producing it. However, she still sides with the victims. Do you credit hip-hop for making this happen?
That was the first place that I went to when I read this news. I was like, well, does Oprah have enough concern with what hip hop thinks of her at this point than she ever has in her career to say, you know what, you guys have a point. I didn't do a documentary about Harvey Weinstein, so why would I do one about Russell Simmons? And then I came to my senses and thought, absolutely not. There has to be some other reason as to why Oprah backed out of this. I don't think that she even knew that 50 Cent had a problem with her doing this documentary, or that any other rapper did. Maybe Russell reached out to her and got her assistant or her voicemail and tried to put a stop to this, but I just don't think that Oprah cares about the blowback that would have came from the communities that she would have pissed off with this film. It says that it was a creative difference with the filmmakers as far as what happens. I think that's more likely than her getting blowback from the hip hop community.
I'm not biting, man. This is, hey, listen, we can thank Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
Oh, fuck out of here.
We can thank Uncle Murder. Thank you for putting that in the rap year-end joint, for airing out Oprah on there. They are the reason. Bro, I was watching ABC. I was watching the game the other day, and there's a commercial for a primetime show that is coming on ABC that is executive produced by Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Like, y'all got to put some respect on his name. Like, he's got some power, no pun intended, and he's getting some pull in behind the scenes. He's not just 50 trolling no more.
Yes, he is.
So when he calls up a stir, and he's got all of social media asking, damn, Oprah, what you got against black men? Like, what's going on? That's got some weight to it now. It's not the same joke as it was 5-6 years ago.
It absolutely is the same joke. When someone says, Oprah, what do you have against rappers? I won't say black men as you did.
I mean, that's what he said.
He said that.
Yeah.
50 Cent said she had a problem with black men.
Yes.
Which is why no one pays attention to 50 Cent. My point in itself. He was just last week, you beefing with French Montana about streaming, and you talking about just yesterday he going to roll down on Rick Ross. It's just, he's forever going to be a troll, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. 50's made a full career out of it. It's just not effective when you're on the level of Oprah and you're on the level of a Russell Simmons. Like, I don't think that stuff registers with him. Like, the empire is too strong.
Hip hop is the #1 genre of music in the world. It's bigger than Oprah.
The media, Oprah is
Oprah is bigger than Oprah.
No,
what you watch on OWN?
What would I watch on OWN? The better question is, what do you watch
Queen
on
Sugar
OWN? Exactly. See what I'm saying?
Hey, watch Queen Sugar.
I mean, I ain't even got to watch OWN. Like, I ain't no telling what else Oprah owns as far as we don't even got anything and we don't know about. But I see what you're saying, but I still don't think that hip hop's a contender for Oprah. Like, let's say, I just can't even say, like, how you canceling Oprah tomorrow?
No, she's not being canceled.
Oh, okay. Was it like protesting, speaking against? How was it ever going to happen?
She
like, you ain't even rallying enough troops to do that.
She realized it's not worth the blowback that she's getting from the community. It's just not worth it. It's the trade-off.
She's been getting this blowback for years.
Not like this.
She's been dogging rappers for years.
Thank you, 50. Hey, I appreciate you, Curtis. Good looking.
Womp womp.
What we got?
Next, man. What we have here is my guy. Try to throw this one for me. Boosie. Boosie went to the Hawks game. He was sitting courtside, man, and he had to find something to match his fly red sneakers that I cannot see in this fit, nor do I know what it was. But Boosie grabbed a Kappa sweater out of the mall.
Okay.
And he rocked it, and he said, you know what, I'm Kappa fresh tonight. Now, for those of you who went to college or know anything about the fraternities and sorority life, you're not supposed to rock those letters if you didn't put in that work. My question to you, Boosie being from Baton Rouge, a college town with LSU and Southern, do you think he knew what he was doing when he put this on?
Man, he knew 1,000,000% what he was doing. Boosie is, he's on social media too heavy now. He understands what viral comments do, what viral videos do. He knows this all too well. Boosie is a smart person. You know what I'm saying? Despite still trying to make music for some reason. I'm not 100% sure why. He's a much better personality than he is musician at this point in his career.
Facts.
So he knew exactly what he was doing. He got people riled up. He's sitting courtside at the Harden and Trae Young game when they both hit 40-point triple doubles, dude. Of course he knew that this would cause an uproar, dude. Yes, you know you can't wear no damn sweater. I'm not finna come here with no Greek sweater on, dude.
Yeah.
I know the rules. He know the rules. You don't have to have a 4-year degree at fucking Yale to understand that, dude. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Well, that's a good. All of those are great points. So the better question would be, if he knew what he was doing, do you think that we were talking about blowback just now with Oprah?
Okay.
Now, there are different levels to this stuff when it comes to fraternities, as I'm told.
Okay.
So that Kappas and they're alphas and they're Q dogs. Do you think that it was just the red shoes, or he knew which sweater it was that he could rock and get away with it?
No, I just think he was just matching with the flavors.
So it was
just the flavors.
Walking through a process in his head, he out the mall. He like, bam, I got these red shoes on. There's a Kappa sweater. It's fresh, I guess. For some reason, he wants to rock that.
It's fly.
So you think he goes through in his head and he says, I don't supposed to do that, but fuck it.
That's how he saw
I'm going to do it anyway. Now, I'm not doing my Boosie voice, but do you think that that's what he said, or do you think he got it, brought it home, and somebody was like, hey, bro, you know you ain't supposed to rock that, right? You think somebody brought it to his attention, or he was being malicious in buying it and doing so?
He knew exactly what he knew. He had the intentions on deck.
Absolutely.
He said, hey, I'm going to wear this at the game courtside, and I'm going to have people talking about me. I'm going to have all the social media talking about me with this sweater on. Watch.
No, he's good.
And then they're going to start the Boosie Shimmy Challenge because they dance to his song. Don't they do the step to his song?
They do. They do the white
He's going
meat
to create
down
the
to
challenge. Watch.
And his brother's a Kappa as well.
So then his brother knew. Then he know about that fraternity life then.
Right.
That's it then. It's a case solved.
Though Bootsy is smart, I don't think that he's as calculated as you are saying. Now, I feel like it went something like this. I'm going to rock this sweater, and someone saying, hey, you know you're not supposed to rock that sweater. And he goes, I don't care. So he rocks it anyway. Now.
So that gave him the gas.
It give me the gas. I'm going to take the blowback that come with it. Like, what's really going to happen, dude? True. Like, what, y'all going to run up on me? Y'all going to gang? Y'all going to beat me up? I'm a little boosty. Now, I think the brilliance is the response and not backing down.
I agree.
That's where the brilliance was. I don't know if it was in the calculation of setting the whole thing up, but I do applaud his response, the shimmy challenge, the videos.
That was smart.
You talking about a nigga that milked a week of content off of this shirt. Salute to Boosie for that.
Absolutely.
That was brilliant.
I give it to him. We're not going to talk about the painting on edge up. We're going to leave that alone.
Man, I was noticing that he had the baby hair right there, right? I ain't know what was going on. I just want to know if we were
going to talk about that or not.
I don't know what that is.
That's your man.
I don't know what that is.
All right, last but not least, man, let's talk Kendrick Lamar. Reportedly, his new album is ready. It's in the can. It's done. It's on deck. No pun intended. Now, allegedly, it is said to contain a heavy rock influence. Is that intriguing or terrifying?
Well, it's terrifying in the sense that at some point, Kendrick Lamar is going to have to miss. And at some point, I think that artists get bored and they swing for the fences on these big ideas, especially when you are as accomplished as a Kendrick Lamar is at this point in his career. What I would reference is Kanye West doing 808s and Heartbreaks.
Okay.
I would struggle to sit through Kendrick going totally left field as that was.
But that was good, though. It grew on people.
It grew on me.
Yeah.
And it was also Kanye West.
Okay.
And I say that to say that Kendrick he's a great artist. Kanye West is a great artist, but I still think that there is a story that he has to tell before he jumps off the 808 ledge.
That's fair.
That's what I am worried about, that if he does jump too far into the rock bag, then it won't complete and this is me being selfish as a fan, just to complete the saga of Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, Section 80. I feel like that is still lingering and he could close end it, and I'm not sure if a rock album is what's going to be it.
Now, I will say this: if it's intriguing or terrifying to me, it's super intriguing. Depending on the rock that it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling what XXXTentacion did. He had rock influences. I'm feeling what 808s and Heartbreak was, even though that's obviously not rock. But it was different. It was experimental. I felt Yeezus, which was heavily rock influenced and was critically acclaimed. I do have a prediction for Kendrick
just like
this year.
Kanye West, though.
Nah, it was good music. I do have a prediction for Kendrick this year that I'm going to save for my Freestyle Friday. I hope y'all been rocking with those. But I do have a bold prediction for him, and this kind of falls in line with it. I'm super intrigued, though. I'm ready to hear this. I don't know when we're getting it. I don't know if now people are saying his name a little more. That means it's on the way. Who knows? But when we do, I would like to hear this, and I pray it's not as bad as To Pimp a Butterfly. That's all I ask for.
You pray it's as good as To Pimp a Butterfly.
Because that was jazz influenced, and I'm not into that. I'm into some rock, though. We can get busy with the rock shit.
That was classic influence. That's what it was. And for that, speaking of classic influence, man, we appreciate you rocking with the first half. Check out this quick commercial break.
What's going on Deck TV listeners? It's your boy J-Ho from the Full Sport Press Podcast featuring myself, Jeff, and Wheezy each and every Monday. Once you are finished with this action-packed episode of On Deck TV, check out FSP episode 303. We're breaking down the 2020 NFL playoff divisional round, FSP style. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Holla.
We are back to the On Deck TV podcast. It's your man, Animal Brown.
I am Spike Lou still.
Absolutely, man. I told you we had a special guest in the building that needs no introduction, but we're going to give him one anyway. Most of y'all are probably familiar with Dead End Hip Hop.
Yeah.
You may be one of the 236,000 subscribers on YouTube. You might be familiar with some of their shows, Dead End Sports, Dead End Gaming, Is the Mic Still On, to name a few. Today, we are lucky enough to have a key cog in the Dead End machine. We've got Ken Inge in the building. What's good, sir?
What's going on, brothers?
Man, I can't call it, man. How you been?
Chilling, man. Just trying to get ready for this year, and looking forward to the future.
Yeah, appreciate you coming by, man. Definitely.
Man, I appreciate the invite.
Absolutely, man. Speaking of kind of kicking off this new year real quick before we get into your story, how did you feel about 2019 in hip-hop? Well, if you could give it a letter grade, how'd you think it was?
Oh, man. So I try to be fair. So halfway through the year, it was average C, D at best.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of albums that I didn't listen to. There were a lot of things that I wasn't paying attention to. So so I had to kind of modify that a little bit. Just I don't think it was fair to criticize the hip-hop industry as a whole if I'm not hearing everything. So I was listening to a lot of podcasts.
Okay.
But I would say that I think I'm going to maintain that. I still think that it was
just okay.
Yeah, I don't think maybe the underground was probably a little bit better. Underground and indie scene was probably a little bit better. A lot of the albums on my list are from that, and they tend to make higher quality albums. But when I look, on the surface, and with the podcast I produce, Low Mid, and the stuff that they listen to, I just, it's just I'm just not rocking with it. So.
You're not big on the mainstream?
Not this new age stuff. Yeah,
that makes sense. Do you feel obligated to listen to everything since you do a lot of content surrounding around hip hop, and does that take away from it for you?
In the past,
yeah.
So I think over the last couple of years, the more and more I start listening to podcasts, I just don't have time to consume that.
Same way.
Yeah, that much of music. But in the past, like it was my mission to listen to every single thing. I would set up a playlist on Apple and a smart playlist, and I would just 2020. Hip hop and whatever that I would add, it would just drop in that playlist automatically, and then I'll just go through, and that's how I would listen and keep track of what comes out. And even if I didn't get a chance to get to everything, I still would have that playlist and go back and listen to what I missed, just to have like that historical record in my head. So when people reference an album, I can at least, recall it. But it's hard. It's hard listening to all of the hip hop, all of the other stuff, outside of that, R&B, jazz, rock, indie stuff. Like it's just hard to keep.
You're not listening to jazz in 2020, Ken.
People listen to
Kamasi
jazz.
Washington.
No way.
What I find hardest as a content creator like you, and you guys let me know what you think about this, is people expecting an opinion as quickly as they have one. Like, oh, I listen to your podcast, and I'm only reviewing this CD, so you should be able to take. Well, not CD. Yeah. I'm only reviewing this project, so you should be able to have an opinion here in 12 hours, like I do. So,
yeah, you know what? I think we've done a good job of pushing back on that, and releasing stuff when we feel comfortable. That fits our schedule. That gives us time to really properly digest the album, and not just rush them. Yeah, some albums, you need time to figure it out, like a Kendrick.
Yeah,
there are other albums where it's pretty much what
it is what it is,
like Big Sean.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Shots early.
Jeez, I was wondering how long it was going to take.
Early. You want to defend your man?
Nah, we're going to get there.
You like Big Sean.
Yeah, okay. Big Sean, that dude. Don't do that. Don't do that because we got company.
He's good.
All right. Did you have another one?
No, go ahead.
Man, I want to take it back just a little bit, give some people some context of how Dead End came to be. But first, kind of let's do some history on you. Where are you originally from?
Meridian, Mississippi. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I moved to Atlanta in 1999.
Word.
So last year we'll make 2 decades.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
What was the music scene growing up in Meridian? Was there one?
Yeah, somewhat. I had friends that were sent there from Chicago. From my cousins were from L.A. So I would get and then Detroit was right up the street, and they were older than me, so I would get a lot of stuff listen to a lot of stuff that they had. So that's how we get exposed to the diversity of music in Meridian, Mississippi. They played primarily what was on the radio back then anyway, so most of the commercial stuff.
Big local artists in Meridian, like anything?
Nope. There was no Big Crit.
No Big Crit.
Nah, David Banner was probably popping when I left, maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I think just having those friends that were sent there by their parents to get out of trouble or so they wouldn't get killed helped me get exposed to a lot of stuff that I wouldn't normally have gotten my hands on.
That makes sense.
Mississippi on the map a little bit. You got, like you said, Crit.
You got Crit,
David Banner, Ray Shrimmer.
Ray Shrimmer from Mississippi.
Yeah.
They claim Atlanta, though, right?
I mean,
They probably claim Atlanta now.
they got on in Atlanta, but
Who else was from what's that kid name? Soulja Boy. I think he
Soulja
was
Boy's from Mississippi.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's true. I did not know that.
He was down there for a minute. Snoop got family from there.
Right.
Yep.
Snoop who?
Snoop Dogg.
Really? Damn, I ain't know that.
Snoop who?
I thought you might be talking about The Wire. Hell, I don't know.
Nah.
Of course. Yeah, let's bring her up. So you said you've been here for 2 decades, and the scene has changed dramatically in Atlanta. Speak to that a little bit as far as what you seen when you got here in '99 and now to Atlanta hip hop as you see it.
I think it's transformed. So when you go back to '99, we were also coming off of the booty music. I don't know if you remember that stuff.
Yeah.
So Dev, the Bass All Stars.
There you go.
Yep.
So all of that stuff was heavy. You already know about Kilo Lee, all of them, right? So you had all of that going on, Criss Cross, The Brat, etc. And then of course Outkast.
Yeah, I heard you say you wore a couple joints backwards on.
Oh yeah, I did.
Oh my God.
So, but you had that moment where hip hop, at least in Atlanta, was being taken a little bit more seriously because of guys like that and artists like that, I should say. And then hip hop fell apart around the mid 2000s.
Oh my God.
As a
Ringtone
whole.
rap.
Yep, ringtone rap. You had
D4L.
D4L. Yep, you
Shout out
had
to Fabo.
Crime Mob. You had all of them cats that came through. So it was more club scene,
Right.
I would say. And what happened after that? I think that's when we went to, I think Jeezy was around, Gucci, T.I., and then now we get to the Young Thugs of the world. You had Young Scooter was big back then. Yeah, of course, R.I.P. Bankroll Fresh.
Yeah,
Scooter's still around?
Yeah, Scooter's still
yeah,
around.
he dropped-
Really?
He just dropped the tape maybe at the end of
2019.
November. I
Yeah.
want to say.
Wow.
It came out. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you had all of the. So I think you had like a merging of 2 different art forms. You had the trap with the, I guess, heavier sounding. It's not bass music, but it's more of a heavy bass.
808. Yeah.
That 808 stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
All through Gucci. I think Gucci is literally, like he said, all my children. Like,
Absolutely.
it's him,
That is a
man.
fact.
And a lot of those guys came up through him, through his label. He would find a lot of these guys and put them on.
Yep.
So and then then we get into the melodic stuff that where we are now.
This is Animal Brown's favorite era of music.
Absolutely not.
Easily.
Not one bit. Back to '99. What are you listening to around then? I know Bad Boy, Shiny Suits was back then. X was hot. What were you into back then?
99. All right, so
What a
20
year.
years. So yeah, I would say Goody Mob. I tried. I think they dropped their last album, World Party, which wasn't good.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, that was rough. There was another guy that was with the Dungeon Family, Crooked something. I cannot remember his name. But he dropped something back then I thought was cool.
Yeah.
I think whatever was pretty much out. You got, of course, like you said, DMX was still around. I think the biggest thing for me back then was that moving to Atlanta, being in college, I didn't have access to a lot of money.
Right.
So the way I heard stuff was I got a job at a record store about a year or so ago, and that's how I started listening to Ludacris and all those other guys that were popular around there, Big Timers,
Of course.
Juvenile, Lil Wayne when he was good.
Yeah.
So all them cats, yeah.
I mean, I'm picturing you riding around a Lil Wayne right now, and it's hilarious.
Yeah,
20
Big
years ago,
timers.
though. 20 years ago, I can see it.
That's because you was a stand.
Easy. Easy. I had all of those things that you're talking about, 100%.
Yeah. So what are you? First of all, is hip hop your primary? I know we're asking hip hop stuff. You guys got the brand. Do you listen to other genres of music? I know you mentioned today currently jazz, which I still don't believe, but I'll take your word for
Kamasi
it.
Washington. What's the guy that was on Kendra's album?
I can't think of
Play the
his name, but I know
saxophone.
what you're talking about. I know exactly who you're talking about.
You got Flying Lotus.
That's considered jazz?
Somewhat, yeah. Could be a
alright.
hybrid of jazz, but he does his stuff, but probably not. More on the beat scene.
Were you listening to more of that type of stuff in '99 as well? It was a primary like hip hop head.
You know what? I think my jazz phase. My dad listened to a lot of jazz, so that's how I got exposed to a lot of it. And but I think I went through a big like deep dive into jazz right around the mid 2000s, something like that. And that's when I really wanted to study the history of it. But I think as far as other genres, it's more of R&B.
Okay.
Obviously.
The new
even
R&B?
though, nah,
like
it
Summer
sucks.
Walker
This
them?
new R&B
Okay.
sucks. It's terrible.
All right. So you're in college. It's '99. You're listening to
The big times.
Big Timers. Riding around listening to Big Timers. I see
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. Okay. When does this turn into? Are you having conversations with your people in college about hip hop and the debates? Who was your go-to debate person back then, if there was such?
There wasn't. So I was the big music guy, in my group, and I didn't really have a group anyway back then. So I came up here with two friends that were still in college, but their mom eventually moved up here, and next thing I know, I was rolling by myself. But my roommate was big into hip hop too. So he listened to a lot of Common. Mos Def was my guy also back then. So we would talk about hip hop a lot as well. And then I would go out with him to catch some of the poet scenes or the open mic scenes that were big back then too. Four Eyes was one, I remember seeing him perform at one of those, and some of the senior chaos guys like that, the underground Atlanta scene at that time.
Yeah.
And so that was the person that I was talking to the most. But back then, I probably listened to R&B more than hip hop.
It was a golden age on R&B, the late 90s.
What we talking about with Carl Thomas? What we talking?
Carl Thomas, you got True Hill,
Daniel Jones.
Yep.
All that good shit.
We're not gonna mention TP2. Is that we
Nah.
not? Okay. All right. I was just checking.
Is.
Just want to see if we was still if that existed still.
T-Pain?
It did. Yeah,
No.
it did. It was there.
What did you do any media while in college in regards to this?
No, I didn't. So I actually went to school for computer programming. So that was gonna be my hustle. So my plan back then was to do computer programming, make all this money, save it up, and open a production company.
Nice.
And use that money to fund that because I didn't need much to survive. It was just me. And but man, I remember falling asleep just looking at all that code and stuff like that. So I was really good and proficient with computers and stuff like that. I would sit at home and fix all the stuff. I would just take, open the VCRs and stuff like that and just look at it. I would sit there and look at computers and just look at just watch stuff download and stuff like that. So I was really, really weird like that. And I just had a knack for it. So I figured that would be the easiest and safest thing for me to do, but programming wasn't it for me. So I switched over to business. So I did small business and project management.
Nice.
Became my concentration. And then so that's what happened.
So the plan was to stay in Atlanta from college? You were like,
Man,
okay.
I was gonna come here, go to college, leave. I had a list of cities. I was gonna go stay in Houston. I was gonna go
All the hip hop
live in
cities.
Kansas City because I was a big Kansas City Chiefs fan back then.
Okay.
Where else was I gonna go? Not New York. Probably somewhere in Cali.
Why the Chiefs?
Derek Thomas, Christian Okoye, Tecmo Bowl.
Okay,
playing Tecmo Bowl.
Fair
and
enough.
Christian Okoye could not be tackled.
There you
on
go.
Tecmo Bowl.
There you go.
Right.
So that was it.
That's a fact.
Him and Barry Word.
Yes.
Yep. And then when Derek Thomas came,
I
man,
used
it
to
was
like the
a
Chiefs
wrap.
too. And Neil Smith. And
Yep,
Derek
Neil
Thomas.
Smith.
He was a beast.
Yeah.
Yep. So they were one of those teams that you can pick that, people were playing with the Raiders.
Yeah.
So they want to get Bo Jackson and all
Right,
these
so
other
you gotta get
guys.
somebody
You got
to keep
combat
up
that.
with them.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
How does this your love for tech kind of turn into what we know now as Dead End Hip Hop? When did that start to form?
So the love of media and the production company never left. That really came into play when I got I got a master's in information systems technology. And basically that's being able to look at everything and figure out how to get to this one thing and the different plans, which aligns with, my tech and project management. And I remember working on a project while I was completing one of my courses, and part of that was basically me figuring out how to use mobile technology to build a media company. So it was all going to be off the phone. So it was going to use, of course, Wi-Fi, and there was something out at the time called Sounds Broadcaster. So when I was doing, during that time, did mortgages.
What year was this?
This was 2006 is when I started working at Mortgage It.
Gotcha.
No, I take that back. 2006 is when I got let go from Mortgage It, and I started working at AT&T.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yep. I think, is that right? Yeah, that has to be right. So I think that's right. But anyway, so I was working at Mortgage It, and doing mortgages, junior underwriter, that sort of thing, and used to listen to music all the time. So Yahoo had something called Launch. I think it was Launch, and then there was also a service called Music Match, which you could say is the very first version of what Apple Music and Spotify is today. Pay one fee, you get access to all these albums. I still love music, so it was perfect for me. It just made sense. So there was also an app called Sound Broadcaster. So I wanted to build an internet radio station because I was listening to Launch. And I was like, man, this is the future. Pandora was around. So I'm like, people are going to listen to music online. Right. I saw where this was going. So I was like, I'm going to build my own radio station. So I used Sound Broadcaster. I had all of this music. So I was putting all this music and sitting there putting all the music together and, putting them in playlists and organizing them. And the service, of course, needed Wi-Fi. But you had to build a website. And I didn't know anything about HTML or building a website at all. I spent 72 hours learning that stuff because it involved PHP, because every time the song changed, the page would refresh and the app would tell the page to refresh. So I forgot what service I used, but I bought that and I put up a radio station online over the weekend after spending all this time building a web page. And it worked. Had about 30 people listening concurrently at one time.
Word.
And I was like, okay, this
I'm
is
on
it.
to something.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So that
this will let
is
you know.
where I got to, the app and building this company. And of course, web blogging was really popular back then. And so all of it kind of aligned together.
That makes sense. That makes sense. It's going down, Young Jock with the songs in 2006. Lean with it, rock with it, shoulder lean. So about that time that all that awful music was out.
Oh, yeah.
It's the time that
Golden
you were
era.
doing this. The golden
Some
era
call
of
it.
music. Go ahead.
Yeah, and how do you get linked up with your fellow Dead End counterparts? Did they all come in at kind of the same time? Were you guys friends, work together?
I got a question before you get to that, though. How did the comic book side of, because he's well known as you're a comic book person as well, how did that coincide with hip-hop and you coming up and doing these things as well, like making time for both of them? Because I know comics is a thing that y'all take serious, you comic book people.
Yeah, I did. I think, again, money. So I didn't have money, so I didn't keep up with it. And, it kind of went by the wayside. So I'm coming back to that now.
Gotcha.
So I would say right around 97, 96 is probably when, I stopped reading them as heavy as I used to.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Marvel, for life. Rest in peace, Stan Lee.
He thinks that Stan Lee is a better filmmaker than Martin Scorsese.
No, I just didn't like that Martin Scorsese was hating on the Marvel movies. That wasn't cool. I ain't appreciate that.
Stan Lee makes better movies than
Never
Marvel.
said that.
He did that.
But he just can't be disrespectful. That's all. Martin Scorsese, I'm looking for you. Nah, but how did you link up with the Dead End Squad?
Working at the company. So that was 2006 when I started working.
At that company with him?
Yeah. Okay. So Rod and FIFO, we all were on the same team. Mike was on the website. So it's kind of funny how it all works, because if I never stayed up building those websites, I never would have got to AT&T.
Right.
Yep. So I had to do that in order to get there, because that's where I was able to put that on my resume.
Nice.
So
and then that's how you meet the guys.
That's how I meet the guys.
Build Dead End. Gotcha.
Yep. So which again ties back to my passion for music and tech. This is kind of crazy when you really, really think about it. But yeah, we were just working there, hanging out. You know, I would go play basketball with them, you know, on the weekends, and, you know, go out and drink with Mike on Fridays after work. So he and the other guys from, you know, the consulting team would just go out and just drink and just chill out and hang out and clown and joke. So, and then I was a team leader, and I think Mike was, I started as a team lead, then I was a manager, and then Mike was a manager. We have monthly meetings every Monday.
I bet Mike used to give him hell in those meetings.
Yeah, when needed to. And every Monday we would walk from one building to the next, and, you know, we would have just random conversations. So we would talk about, you know, music, of course. So that was a relationship kind of building and forming from there. And same thing with the guys. So it was just work, man.
Nice.
Whose idea was it to, hey, let's put this thing together, let's make something of it, like make a network out of it?
Yeah, it was me. Yeah. So I came to Rod with the idea because I was already doing it anyway. Yeah. So I had a site called whatishiphop.com, and I knew I needed original content to make it stand out from everybody else. Mm-hmm. So and I knew it needed to be opinion based instead of here's this new song. So I was working on that. Rod built the logos for those back then, and he helped me with some other design stuff because I think I used Blogger or WordPress to put it together, and I was doing that while I was in college as well, working on my master's. So I'll be in class posting stuff, you know, trying to build it up for when I got out of, you know, when I graduated, I'll be ready to just jump into it. Mm-hmm. And we were just having a conversation via email, and they were talking about music. And this guy, Doug, he was a rapper at the time, Wise, he mentioned, oh, here goes another Dead End Hip Hop conversation. You know, I saw the phrasing, and I was like, that's a show. That's a show. So the idea was to have, I was going to be behind the scenes. I wanted Rod, Mike, this other guy named Nova. He's a rapper. He still is. Mm-hmm. Nova be on the show, and then I think Doug was going to be on it or somebody else. But that was it. And I was going to be behind the scene, record it, produce it, and it was going to be What is Hip Hop Presents Dead End Hip Hop Conversations. So I ran the idea by Rod. He loved it.
And what year was this?
2010.
Okay.
2010. So he was on board, and unbeknownst to me, he was behind the scenes working on a trailer. So I knew that he did animation, and I seen some of his work, but I didn't know that he could do all this other stuff that he's doing now. So it was around January he came, and he was like, yo, here's this trailer I've been working on. And I presented this idea to him around September or August, because we went to A3C as Dead End Hip Hop, because we knew the general manager that we actually worked with the general manager that was over A3C, because it was still small and growing at the time. So she got us the hookup, and we went as Dead End Hip Hop, and we just felt like we couldn't go away from it.
Nice. Who were some of the names at that A3C when you guys were there?
I want to say we interviewed the Artifacts. Ninth Wonder was there. Nice. Skyzoo wasn't. I think we talked to them at a later event.
I saw him at a Hawks game.
Duck down. Was that the year? Big Daddy Kane was there?
No way.
Nah, I don't think it was. But yeah, those are some of the ones that stand out that I remember.
A3C done came a long way.
It has.
Yep.
Because they built that crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's nuts now.
She definitely don't work there no more, huh?
Who?
She definitely doesn't work there anymore.
Nah. Yeah,
She looked out, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. So what the idea was to put that stuff on YouTube, or were you already familiar with podcasting at that time?
It was on YouTube. So, again, the interesting thing is, so while I was working on my project, I kept seeing, I didn't understand YouTube, but I kept seeing a lot of people saying, oh, video is going to be the next thing. You got to get your, video marketing and all, et cetera, et cetera. 3 to 5 minutes, a video is the attention span, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, all right, cool. So all this stuff is research. And so I knew video was going to be the next thing. I was listening to podcasts and around that time.
You were early.
Yeah, because I had just got an iPod, and I used to listen to an underground hip-hop podcast that used to drop a single a day of an underground artist.
Any big names, people that blew up off of that you can remember back then? You was like one of the first people on?
I won't say the first people on, but what is this? He's a I won't say political rapper. He was just here. What is this? The Revolutionary Volume 3. God, man, hold on. See, this is what happened when you get old.
Tell me about it.
But anyway, so yeah, he was just here for a show, and but yeah, so I was doing all the research. I already knew that video was going to be the next thing. That's what everybody was saying. It was going to be a trend. I still didn't get it. So I talked to Rod one day, and I was like, I don't get YouTube. What is YouTube? And then he said, because people were obsessed and always going to YouTube. Mm-hmm. And they were like, oh, yeah, it's just like a time capsule. And it's like a rabbit hole. So when you go on there, you watch one thing, and then you watch the next, and you watch the next, and then watch the next. And therefore, I understood the psychology of the person that does that, because Rod basically became, a case study. So it's like, okay.
You start asking him what he watches and different things.
I didn't need to. Once he said that, I understood it. Oh, that's me. Hold on.
No.
So once he said that, I understood it. So I got it. So I understood that putting it on YouTube, if you use the keywords and you make content, then eventually the algorithm would catch hold and it would recommend it to other people. So you just had to program the right stuff that would keep people engaged. And what would keep people engaged? People arguing about music. Because what do people do? They argue about music all the time.
Absolutely.
That's what we did when we were at work, and that's what I did when I was with my homeboys. So it just made sense. It just had to be entertaining.
Yeah. Tell me about what it was a kind of a pivotal moment, I guess, in the success, an early success of Dead End with Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly album. Mm-hmm. How did what exactly? Can you explain what happened with that?
When he shouted us out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. So doing Dead End Sports, we developed a relationship with a guy, Q Got No Rings, on Twitter. He would call in every Tuesday and talk to us about Philly.
And that was just like organic from Twitter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't even talk to him that much on Twitter. He would just call into the show. Very smart, educated brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, he would call in, and so we just developed a relationship over time, and he just hit me up and he told me what he thought the acronym stood for, and I just said it on the show, and I of course credited him, with it, and they saw it, and I guess when they were watching it, they sent it to him, and it was like, oh man, these guys kind of cracked the code. So, and that's how he ended up mentioning us, because I think somebody had asked him about it.
Yeah, somebody asked him about the name.
Yeah, it was Rod Markman.
Rod
Markman. So Rod Markman hit us up on Twitter via DM and told us about it, and that's how we linked up with him.
Nice. So it was an interview in which, because we only knew it was TBAB at the time, right? Nobody actually knew what that meant, but y'all pretty much guessed what that stood for. And then that's how I got to Kendrick, just for context.
Yeah, the fact that somebody was able to put that out there.
Is there some satisfaction at that point from saying all of these conversations and these dead end, conversations and debates that we've had lead to fruition when we figured out to crack this code and people are mentioning it on a much larger platform than you had at the time? Is there some type of satisfaction that came with that?
It was at the time. I never imagined, because I was just a fan like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Michael Jordan. I was like, yo, this guy could be big. In one of our videos, he was my pick as one of the guys to have nets, and I think B picked J. Cole and FIFO picked Wiz Khalifa. And but yeah, that was one of our early videos.
Nice.
Yeah, and so it was to see him go from where he was to where he was at that time. Of course, obviously to where he is now, and for him to just acknowledge that, you know, it meant a lot. I mean, you're doing all this work. You don't know if they're watching. You suspect it, but you don't really know if they're watching or, you know, somebody in their posse watching. So yeah, it was satisfying, but you don't really get anything out of it.
Yeah,
you know, it's just a personal reward.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
whenever y'all want to have a real conversation about that To Pimp a Butterfly album, I'm here for it. It's not all that. Let's keep it 100.
It's the best album of this decade is what it is. I mean, so if all that means not the best album of this decade, then you can leave it.
It's 2020, guys. We can let that album go.
It's 2010 to 2019. That was the best album that came out to me. It's not even close, actually.
One of these days, I'm gonna revisit it.
You should have been done it
That's it.
before continuing to shit on it.
That's it. That ain't nothing, Kendrick. I need something better than that next go.
You feel
around.
differently, obviously.
oh yeah. I still love the album.
Did you do a decade album list?
Nah, we're actually gonna do that tomorrow. I still got to go through my list actually. So
Have you written off Kanye and the beautiful dark twisted fantasy as I have? It didn't make my list at all. I didn't forget it came out actually. See how hard
You know
he
what?
has to think
Actually,
about that.
now-
You go kick it off, kick it out, get it out of there.
so we're talking about 2010.
Yeah, it don't
it
make
fits.
It don't make
It dropped into that. When did it drop?
Yeah, it's in this decade.
November,
So, yeah,
November
it'll probably- it'll
November
make-
20.
I think it'll
barely
make the list.
Just barely.
I think it'll make the list.
Just barely.
Man, where is Dead End right now? How many shows are on the network?
I think we have 9 podcasts. We have 1 video. So I think right now we're definitely all in on audio, which was huge for us to make that transition. One of the things that, you know, if you're kind of paying attention, you could see. So I saw that coming. We had started talking about it for a minute, so it took us a couple of years to get up and running, but we did, and now we're kind of building it out. So we have 9 shows on there now. Dead End Sports was like the first one, so that was in 2013, I want to say. And then the video. So I think we're about to create new video shows, entering into the food space.
Nice.
And probably just do more video.
You're
with
not gonna
some
be
other
going
shows.
around eating all you can.
Yeah,
I seen
of
your
course.
Instagram, man. Like, yeah, I don't want to follow you to Burger King. You're gonna be on there eating stuff.
Impossible
Like,
Whopper.
darling, I eat the tacos from Burger King.
Yeah, I ate the tacos.
man.
How
from
was
Burger
it?
King.
How was it?
I
How
mean,
you
you already
think
know how it was. It wasn't good at all. It was greasy. That's what it was.
Jeez. I gotta ask you, because I'm a Dead End hip hop fan as well. And I got to sit on this the mic salon and thoroughly enjoy myself. You guys get to have a lot of conversation. Whose opinion do you think differs from yours the most? Like, you find yourself on totally opposite ends of the spectrum the most, as Animal Brown and I do.
That is a very good question. I don't know an answer. Cause I'm kind of always somewhat
In the middle.
Yeah.
And I noticed that sitting in, and that's what made me ask, because I noticed that sitting in that you guys, you're kind of in the middle of it between, Mike and.
because I can
Fifo.
understand a lot of points.
Yes.
I'm somewhat pragmatic, so as I age, I become more and more that way. I mean, I would probably say Mike, maybe,
That's the easy answer.
I
because I
was
do
about to
agree
say.
with a lot of points that Rob, like, I understand people,
Right.
so I understand when Rob makes his points. I understand the viewpoint he's taking. I get it, because people are different from what they show themselves to be
Right.
online.
Mm-hmm.
And online, these think pieces, these tweets and all this stuff, it's, for the most part, some is a farce.
Yes.
We
so
call that
I-
cap.
Yes.
Yeah,
that
so I
is.
don't
Cap.
believe most of it. You just want to sound like you're on the right side of things.
100%.
But the real world isn't that way.
Exactly.
And I think you have to be aware of that in order to, if you're going to get progress, you got to be aware of that in order to move forward.
To have real conversations. Yep. That's
Absolutely.
why I like is the mic still on.
Man, and I had a chance to sit in. We did the No Disrespect. We've done shout out to Chris Platty. We did the Strictly Hip Hop and Hoop Talk, and we talked about Jay-Z and his NFL deal. Have your feelings changed about that since it happened?
No.
Thank God.
Nope. Not at all.
No disrespect is Nick, though. Shout out to Nick, too.
Shout out to Nigga Duce, my guy. Not at all. You still Team Cap.
Yes. You don't have to ask
Hashtag
me twice.
wait and
You're
see,
the only
guys.
one. You're the only one still
it's
waiting
not,
to
You don't
see.
have to wait and see.
Wait
man.
and see.
Nope, you don't have to wait and see because we already knew. Like and if we would have spent all that time waiting to see, then they eventually revealed themselves with the whole Cap thing.
With the workout.
Yeah, with the workout. We know that was
a farce, as you just said.
Yeah. So and Jay-Z only did that for his ego because he was taking hits as the reports put out there. And my thing is, if he was sincere, he could have done it on the front end. He didn't. That could have been part of his negotiation.
Yeah. If I'm going to come in
strategy.
and do this for you guys, give Cap a workout.
How do we know that didn't happen?
6 months.
Because it didn't happen.
To it 6 months from here. Just sign the deal.
How do we know
Yeah.
that didn't happen?
Because it didn't happen.
He got the workout for him. I mean, he got the workout, and they said he was involved.
That's what they say.
That's true.
I don't even believe that either. Yeah, I don't believe that either. And Michael Eric Dyson, I have all of his books. Big fan.
You got the Jay-Z book?
What did Michael
I haven't bought the new.
well,
I haven't bought the new one yet.
Yeah.
The one about Jay-Z yet. But he loves Jay-Z, and I think it kind of
jaded.
twisted. Yeah, because I was
jaded
like,
his
man,
opinion.
because I was disappointed in the way that he looked at it when he was on First Take.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to sell books. I was disappointed with Stephen A. Smith. I was disappointed with Michael Eric Dyson. I was disappointed with both of the ways that those guys responded to it. Because at the end of the day, Cap he can do that. I don't think that he's wrong for doing it.
Yeah. If anybody knows better, I know Dyson does.
He's trying to get Jay-Z to come do a book signing with him,
I
man.
guess.
That'd be the biggest event he ever has.
I need that book, too. I ain't get it for Christmas. I need that book.
I thought I was going to get it, too. That's why I didn't buy it.
Man, what's you spoke about kind of what's next for Dead End just a little bit, but any immediate 2020 plans that you can speak on right now that you're looking to maybe take the brand or expand?
Yeah, we definitely going to do the food thing. Like I said, we're up in production, across the board. Eventually live shows. So we did a couple of tournaments with Dead End Gaming. And, we definitely want to do some live shows. We record Dead End Sports Live every Tuesday. So there's that. But just kind of utilize the space a little bit more, in that area. And I think the biggest thing that I want to start pushing for is just recording our podcast conversations and putting those on YouTube. We get a lot of requests for those. And I don't know, I just got a feeling.
You mean like the outside the mic conversations?
Well, I want to do that too, but just the actual podcast
audio
itself.
And video for it. I got you. I understand what you mean.
Yep. I just got a feeling that I think we're missing the mark there.
What do you think about, as a content creator, the space and where it's going, as far as the streaming services and streaming wars, where you're going to place your content, as far as YouTube? Where do you see that going, and what's your approach to it?
So what I would like to do, because I don't trust any of them, is I would like to just go to an owned and operated site, an O&O, and basically do a subscription service there. We're in bed with YouTube, so it's hard for us to do that. We don't have any of the data, in terms of the email addresses and stuff like that. So that transition would be extremely tough for us to do that. So, but that's what I would like to do. It's just very difficult to do that.
Like a hip hop Netflix.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
I think it just makes the most sense for us. At any given moment, we see throughout the years what YouTube is doing. You don't want to do what they call digital sharecropping. It's basically you're building your platform on somebody else's land.
Yeah.
So it's always best to have that control over your content. So So if YouTube come up and just say, hey,
You're gone.
this video, we're gonna delete your channel. That's it. We're wiped out. So that's too much. That's a single point of failure, and I don't like exposing us to that risk. So that is something that I'm gonna work on, and I continue to work on behind the scenes to make sure that we're protected. One of the things when you're doing, working on computers, you always have redundancy. So you always have to have a backup.
Firewalls.
Yep. And one of the things my dad taught me is to have, backup as a military man, and then backup to the backup. So I just doubled down on that.
So you were speaking of having 9 other podcasts in production at Dead End and through the production company. When people come to you about an idea, do they have to pitch you? How does that go into production and get greenlit?
I do find shows. I do listen to other shows, so I'm always actively listening. I remember what it was like starting out and nobody giving you a shot. So I definitely try to reach back. But yeah, I think it's a little it's both.
Right.
Sometimes people are like, hey man, just check out this podcast. Let me know what you think. They just want, advice or feedback. And then I'm like, oh, this actually kind of really sounds good. Maybe we could do something with it. And then I think with Ralph, he comes with a lot of the ideas. The No Apologies podcast, which is a polyamory podcast. Rob brought that idea over to us, and that's it. So yeah, Dead End Gaming was, again, my idea, because B was a big gamer.
Want to get younger.
And I wanted to get back in, and I wanted to play games, but my time is extremely valuable.
So you needed a reason to tell the wife.
I needed a reason to play games.
Video games.
So,
Nice.
Yep. So create a show.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Tell everybody where they can follow all things Dead End.
Dead End Hip Hop. I think you can go to deadendhiphop.com and find everything there. Or all of the podcasts are at deadendpodcast.com. Probably the easiest way to get to the Dead End Hip Hop content is just go to youtube.com/deadendhiphop. I got to rebuild the site, actually. So, so that's what I'm working on now. And eventually everything will be all under one domain.
Okay.
Like the podcast, the videos, like everything.
Okay.
Gotcha. Before we let you out of here, from a content standpoint, music or whatever it may be, podcast, what are you looking forward to most in 2020?
Besides Big Sean album. Other than that, what are you looking forward to?
Music?
Sure.
I get a lot of flack for it, but I don't really do anticipations. I think a lot of that came with age. When you're younger, it don't really matter because you got your life ahead of you. As I've gotten older, I realized that I was wasting a lot of time waiting for an album to drop in August. Oh man, I can't wait. So then August get here, and then I realized that 8 months is gone.
Right.
Just waiting on the album. So I like to take, what's given to me as the year go on. So I do think that if artists do drop something, I always find it interesting, but I don't sit around waiting for it or anticipating anything like that. I realized that with movies, like TV shows. I don't know if you guys remember the Heroes.
Yeah.
And Lost and all the time. Same
Yep.
thing with TV, man. They'll go away for a season and come back. We'll be back next year in 2007. And 24 was my show. Oh, man, I can't wait.
Jack Bauer.
And next thing you know, man, it's 3 years later. I'm like, man.
What's going on?
Where my life been at.
Waiting on the damn TV show. So nah.
And there's so much content now that you don't really have to do that. You find your place in, whether it be podcasts or new stuff on Netflix, series, re-binging old stuff that you never got to catch. It's always something that you can fill your spot with where you don't have to wait on new stuff. So
yeah.
Whole lot of content, man, and I hope y'all are out here consuming this Dead End content. A lot of good stuff going over there, man. And we've linked up before and been guests on shows. And then speaking for Lou, we appreciate it, and we see what y'all doing, man. It's definitely respectable. And of course, much luck to everything to you guys in the future. Y'all doing big things, man. We already know that. Big shit popping over there.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Where can they follow you, man, on social media?
On Twitter is Kenneth B. Inge, KENNITH. My dad decided to use an I instead of an E. So KENNITH BINGE. And Instagram is KBINGE. So they can find me there on Facebook is facebook.com/KENBINGE. I think. Yeah, that's my profile page.
Well, we definitely appreciate you having me, and we look forward to working with you more in the future. And you guys watch out for Dead End and everything that they got going on. It's the OndeckTV podcast.
Absolutely. We'll be back after this. Hey, man, we are back on OndeckTV podcast. It's your man, Animal Brown.
I am Spike Lou.
Man, shout out to Ken Inge from Dead End Hip Hop, man. Very smart dude. He knows his shit, man. I fuck with him heavy and what they got going over at Dead End.
Yeah, shout out to Dead End guys, man. We appreciate Ken stopping by 100%. We're going to try to get the rest of those guys over here at some point so y'all can hear their stories as too, man. Shout out Dead End Hip Hop, Sports, and all the conglomerate over there, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Triple salute, man. Hey, we handing out some wins and some losses today, dog.
Okay, wins and losses. Handing out a W to Nipsey Hussle. Victory Lap is now certified platinum.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was already platinum, too.
Yeah, this seemed like it's kind of like late news. I thought that went platinum like a month after he died, to be honest with you.
You know what's crazy? His video on YouTube was at 900,000 views the day he died. It jumped up to 9.7 million.
Damn,
same
10
day.
times the amount. That's
Shit
crazy. All right, man. We handing out W's also to Nelly fans. Stand up.
Oh, my God.
Cornell Haynes is going to perform the whole country grammar in full at Bonnaroo. Are you looking forward to this for the 20th anniversary of that album?
Hey, man.
You going to be there? You getting tickets?
If I was going to go to Bonnaroo,
You have to be there
I
for
would
that.
want a refund.
Yeah, you'd have
now.
to be there for that.
Man,
The whole country grammar? Man, stand up. Let's go.
I didn't want to hear that in in
Yeah.
99 when it came out.
Yes, you did.
Or whenever the fuck
You was
it
banging
came
that.
out, too.
All right, man.
I don't want to hear that shit now.
You was banging it. Handing out an L to top 3 worst mug shots I've ever seen in my life. My guy, Trick Daddy.
T-double-D. That's my guy. He was arrested for cocaine and some more shit.
Cocaine DUI in down in Dade County, Florida. Man, is that a lace front? Like, what's going on with the front right there?
I'm not sure what's going on with Trick Daddy.
Is that the same thing LeBron got?
Nah, it can't be.
LeBron's kind of...
This is
LeBron's did that on TV one time. Did you see that?
Stop. No, it didn't.
I swear.
It
Yeah, did
moved?
nobody see that? Yeah.
Fuck outta
when
here.
Anthony Davis told him to fix his shit. You remember LeBron's did that on TV, I'm telling you.
I say this, though, and this is a perfect opportunity to Trick to get like a hair implant, like
He need that.
hook up with a barber,
He need
get
to
like a little
call-
sponsorship.
He need to call Tory Lanez tomorrow. Call Tory Lanez, get him on the phone.
Cause that shit,
Eesh.
that's my guy Trick. On a serious note, though,
That looked like a hat.
on,
It's like he got a hat on, dude.
on a serious note, he did admit though. He said he doesn't take meds for his lupus.
Yeah, so he tries to self-medicate with cocaine and
Exactly.
weed. That still ain't an excuse for that hairline.
Yeah,
You
you can
give a
still go
fuck
to the
how
barber.
high you is, my nigga. You got to get that
If
fixed.
you can afford cocaine, then you can afford a solid barber in Florida.
Some got to give, bro.
Moving on, man. Before we get out of here,
Come home, Trick Daddy.
on Decker of the Week. This
Yeah.
week, we're awarding it to a fellow Tennessee Titan, Yo Gotti, man. My guy, Memphis, stand up. He enlisted Rock Nation, shout out to Jay-Z, to end deaths in Mississippi prison. So apparently, somehow, some way, Yo Gotti got word
See what you
that
did
there
there.
have been some type of mysterious deaths of young black individuals in several different prisons spread out throughout Mississippi. He reached out to Jay. Jay being the type of guy he is, shout out to Hove. He linked up with Rock Nation's philanthropical arm to
Got
bring
that
some
off.
attention to that. So shout out to those guys, man. On Deck of the Week. Hove gets a lot of flack for his move with the NFL.
Well, I'm not. Wait. Just not letting
but he
you
keeps
slide that NFL
pulling out
shit in
receipts
there.
like this to show that
Just
he's
to
fucking
let you
with us.
guys know what happened here. Fuck that
Shit.
NFL, because Hove gonna keep getting flack for that.
Let's go, Hove.
But they are suing the state of Mississippi and Governor Phil Bryant due to the recent influx of violence inside of the prisons in Mississippi, and due to that violence, several inmates have been killed.
Yeah.
How Yo Gotti got attention to this, I'm not sure, but like you said, he reached out to Hove, and Hove put the powers that be in motion
That's what he
over at
do.
Rock Nation and got the thing in court. Now, at least since people are looking at it in court, you hope to get their act straightened up while they're there. So shout out to Yo Gotti for this, man.
This probably hit Gotti radar. He probably was on tour through Mississippi or something.
He probably knew somebody in the. I think they said that somebody, a friend, is first degree of separation, someone that he knew was affected by this. So that's what happened.
Shout out Rock Nation, man. I see you ho doing big things, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Wait
Cap.
and see for that NFL
What
deal.
Cap
though.
at, bro?
Let's wait and see. Wait and see. Keep waiting and seeing, man.
Shit. Before we get out of here, man, put me on to something, man, or put me off something. Hell,
man, it's a brand new show on HBO called The Outsider.
I put you on that.
You absolutely did not.
Man,
I was
that in
waiting.
the chat.
Yeah, I was waiting on that since Watchmen came out, and that first episode, really good. It was really good. I was finna gas it. It is. I only watched one of them, but that first one was really good. Jason Bateman did his thing. He directed it. That's my guy. So he'll be back as Marty Bird a little bit later in March.
Yeah.
But I'm putting you on The Outside. That's fire.
All right.
Check it out. HBO.
Man, if I had to put you on something this week, man, it's Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. I'm fucking with that Bad Boys all day and got my tickets ready.
I'm tired of this promo run already.
Nah, have you been watching that interview? That interview's been fire.
No, I have
Watch
not.
the Sway interview. Just watch the Sway.
Why?
Because Will Smith be dropping gems. Nigga, what the hell are you talking about? Absolutely. You don't follow Will Smith on Instagram?
I never see it. Like, Instagram only show like 9 posts, dude. That's why I hate Instagram. I follow 500 people and see the same 9 every day. It's fucking amazing to me. I can go on and on about that.
You need to upgrade.
No idea what the fuck is going on. It's not my phone. It's the fucking algorithms. This person shows a post from 89 days ago. Meanwhile, it's a whole big party going on Instagram that I'm not privy to. Apparently, Will Smith is good on it.
Absolutely. And check out that Bad
And
Boys.
I follow him. Never seen a post.
I think it's going to be dope. Fuck what you talking about. You hating. Hey, before we get out of here, rest in peace, Fifth Ward Weeby. The bounce legend in New Orleans, man. He passed away due to complications from cardiac arrest.
Sad to hear that, man. We appreciate you guys rocking with us and liking the new format, man. You guys go to the YouTube and check out everything on the Realville Media Network as far as shows. We appreciate it.
Holla.